trying hard, but you wanna be my friend. Ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. Here we go again. Call my bluff, I'ma be here till the end. I'm the one you ride, I'm the one you ride to. If you don't wanna change, ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. If you don't wanna change, I can help you out, 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 I can help you out. Here we go again. Time is up and I'm calling up my friends. Ain't no wonder why, ain't no one to ride to. Here we go again. Call me up and you wanna be my friend. I'm the one you ride, I'm the one you ride to. If you don't wanna change, ain't no place to hide.
And I've been chillin', watching the ocean with you. Baby up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our cloudlands when people change, but not us. And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. 'Cause you got me holding, holding. Cause you got me holding. And I'll be running, possessed by a low, low voodoo. Fired up like a wolf on a full moon. And we're stuck in a la la land. The tides will turn without us. And I'll be killing time like I might be a cartoon. Take it in real life like haiku. I know we
Hello everybody and welcome to the Quack and Smite League. We are in week 3. This is the Deep Sea division between the Starhoppers and the Plebians. I am Raptor. Normally I'm behind the camera. This time you get to see me actually in front of the camera. And I'm of course joined with Uchi. Uchi, how are you doing today, my brother?
I'm doing pretty well, Raptor. It's great to finally get to pair with you, not be in production here as we go into the set.
Well, I am still production. So the reason it took so long is we couldn't find anyone to fill in. So I am doing production and I am casting. So if I seem a little distracted, that is why. So I do apologize in advance. But let's just hop right into picks and bans. It's the Starhoppers versus the Plebians. And right away we see a Ymir ban. Why do we see the Ymir being banned, Uchi?
Personally, Ymir is, in my opinion, one of those just aggressive supports that can just get up in there. I don't understand top 3 banning him, but, we do see it here. I do think he is, sometimes, depending on the comp, or the second phase ban, though. The Emoja, standard typical, though, as we roll back with the Daji.
Yeah, Daji and Thor, two very powerful junglers, getting banned. It looks like the first bans for both teams are supports. Second bans for both teams are junglers. What do you want to see out of these last 2 bans?
I'm still seeing the Cupid open. Cupid just able to get in there with those team ults, I think, is something huge, especially in those late game team fights. Some people can't see it. He's banned there. That is actually something to expect. Hades becoming basically a lot of the pro players where it's the top solo right now. outside of Guan, who I'm actually hoping to see banned over here by the Plebians as well.
Well, it's not going to be the Guan. It's going to be the Naja instead. Why do we see the Naja banned? I know we've seen a rise in Naja play, especially in that jungle role over the past few patches, but why do we see the Naja ban over, let's say, the Khepri or the Guan Yu?
Najat just one of those jungles right now since his buff. Able to just provide so much setup for the team. You pair that with a Vulcan or something along those lines, man. You're able to get off so much damage. Just grab a Sash, Vulcan ult, or you can Najat ult, let your team catch up before they get over there. There's still time for that setup.
Well, I hope that Naja ban was worth it because they do give up the Khepri, but immediately they answer with the Guan Yu.
Guan just being oppressive right now over there in the solo, in my opinion. Great first pick into counter pick for this. Not a counter pick, but good respawn for this Khepri first pick over here, in my opinion.
Yeah, so how does the Atlas fare against the Khepri? Like, when you think of top supports, you think Yamoja and Khepri. I've heard conversations of Atlas being number 3. How do you think Atlas fares into a Khepri?
I think it's a lot of that setup I was talking about within his too with the Atlas. He has the ability to also secure these objectives if he can get up in there, as I'm sure a lot of people inbounds meme on it. But as we look back over here on the Star Hoppers, they're hovering this AMC guy that just got it. I'm a big AMC lover myself, but I don't know how it's going to go with this nerf. The On-Her also locking in for this double 100 comp they appear to go for.
Yep, that On-Her game locked in almost solidifies that AMC is going over to that mid lane, and I'm a little curious. So, would you have? I doubt that they would have banned the On-Her, right? If they went somewhere else. Do you think that's a mistake that they're showing their hand a little too early, given that On-Her and showing that AMC is going to the mid lane, or are you okay with that?
Personally, if they were going to go on her, I think they wait a bit later. I think grabbing a CERN there would have actually been pretty huge since he's not banned out yet. We do see the Morgan Le Fay answered back, though, for this AMC. Maybe just trying to survive the post, make sure you still got that clear and that push away. Forgive me, I don't know Morgan's abilities, but the knockback on her, too.
Yeah, the dragon is some great peel, and then additional movement speed from her 3. And then, of course, you can't forget, the big circle that fears everyone inside of it. Everyone loves that ability. But Morgan Le Fay, a mid laner that has kind of fallen out of favor, all things considered. You see maybe 1 or 2 high-level mid laners still picking her up. Why do we see her picked up into the AMC?
Like I said with the AMC, I think it's just a safe pick. If he's going to step up to 2 the wave, you can use your one with the fear that we had talked about. Still be able to throw that long distance 3. I like I forget what they're called right from Dragon Ball, where it reminds me of that all the time when you play Morgan. And then just got that safety if that jungle shows up with that knockback. We don't see who the jungle is here yet, but we still need ADC and jungle over here on the side of the Plebians, and we don't have a jungle, I'm assuming, yet on the side of the Star Hoppers either. So
yeah, but
the CERN Odin bans.
Yeah, here. So far they're not prioritizing the junglers at all, even though both teams need them, trying to leave some options open. They immediately go to the Odin bans and the CERN. Odin, you and me both saw it last night when we were casting the set last night. Why is Odin getting banned? Because he didn't look that good when we saw him last night.
I think he's one of those situational gods. If he can get in there, he can stop the Khepri from getting out, the AMC especially until that shell's up online, like I had discussed last night. I think Odin is good in situationals. I don't think he's a solo you're necessarily going to pick up, but, he can hold his own against the Guan, stop the chain on the Guan's 3. I think it would have been a good pick to kind of counter this Guan, maybe shut down this AMC late. That's where my head kind of goes with that. But the thing I do think spicy real quick here, and I want your opinion, this Susanoo ban.
So Susanoo is a god that I have been preaching was a very good jungler for a while now. Then they went out and buffed him, and still no one's playing him. And I am very confused. I'm glad to see my boy getting a bit of love here. He's still at very much a late game god, as he ever has been. But just the burst he brings. If you can stay on level through the first 6 or 7 levels, he will bring so much to your team. And I'm very surprised that we hadn't seen him up until now. And of course, he's falling into the ban column. But going back to the picks, we were talking about how both teams needed a jungler. Pele versus Ravana. How does that match up fair?
You know, I think Ravana has the edge early game, but I think late game, if this Pele gets that damage online, I think she wins these fights. But you got to watch out for the Ravana early. You know, you just choose your... the thing that does strike me, going a little bit off topic, we see physical here locked in for the side of the Star Hoppers. I think they're really trying to rely off this on EMC pin and just let kind of do its own thing.
Yeah, for sure. Looking back at the final pick for the Plebians, it is an Ishtar hover, and it's an Ishtar lock. Ishtar, the newest god, well, Maui, the newest god allowed in comp, because obviously Maui is the newest god in the game, but Ishtar, the newest goddess to comp, only been in the comp scene for a few weeks. We've seen a little bit of play, but what does the Ishtar bring to a team?
You know, Ishtar brings us safety if, you know, on her tries to get that 2 off. You know, you got that ult, so you don't have to expend beads. You can dash away after that. You know, just, I think her survivability and ability to 1v1 in lane is very strong. The problem I have with Ishtar in comp, unlike ranked, you know, where you can kind of dawdle off, do your own thing a little bit so you get to that higher level play. With Ishtar, you're kind of just in comp. If somebody blocks your dash, you're dashing back into the enemy team, you know? Like, if you don't have your kit and both your relics up, I think she's a bit tricky to get off in these situations. However, like I said, very good 1v1 god. I think in a situation where she can 1v2 as well if she's ahead. Strong hunter. Just like I said, I think when it gets to that team phase, Ishtar's a bit iffy still for me.
Okay, so you said she's a very good 1v1 hunter. On her is the pinnacle 1v1 hunter. Who wins in that matchup if they do try and just go full, just butt heads?
You know, personally, like I had said before, I main ADC, and I gotta say, I like Ishtar's style more than I like on her. I think if they're able to get a little bit of a lead, whether it be gold or just XP, and maybe get an extra level, I think Ishtar can take an on her by itself. But the thing we do need to keep in mind here is they got that Khepri over on the side of the Star Hoppers. How many times is Khepri going to be able to save this AMC or this on her? Because I think the Pele and Kukulkan, they're going to run back there and do their own thing regardless.
Yeah, and so one more thing is left. Who do you favor draft-wise? Ignoring player names, draft-wise, who do you think takes this game?
Off draft, I gotta say I like the side of the Plebians. However, I do like the type of aggressive style the Star Harpers bring. But I think if it gets to these team fights and this front line isn't able to find success on these dives, I think it's going to go to the side of the Plebians just because they got a lot more safety, survivability. You know, got on heals, the Atlas to save you from the Pele on her, AMC. So, comp-wise, Plebians, personal style, I do got to go Star Hoppers.
So you're saying that early game, you're giving it to the Star Hoppers, and if it comes to these team fights, if the Star Hoppers don't have a lead, you're giving it to the Plebians.
Correct.
Well, we are going to have to find out as we go into game number 1 between the Star Hoppers and the Plebians. And Uchi, I am already seeing something fairly interesting. Warrior's Axe on Kukulkan. Why are we seeing him pick up this Warrior's Axe?
You know, I'm not a big fan of Axe myself. I know lightly coming back into the meta here, since the Bluestone nerf, but I'm a bit confused by it myself. Even rushing this Glad Shield, what is it, 15 prots or whatever on Axe? So I mean, even if we're rushing the Glad Shield there, I think that's I don't know. Maybe it's gonna be just Yellow Numbies that gets the win over here in Soul Lane. We'll have to wait and see. Not gonna lie though, still a fan of Bluestone over Axe.
Well, we're gonna have to see how it fares. And this, when I look at this solo lane, I think aggression. You think of Kukulin. Once he transforms, you can't box him. Freaking Guan Yu's 3, especially with the Bluestone, should just be able to outclear this Kukulin whenever he's not raged out. So, how do you think the solo lane fares, especially in the early game?
I think, like you had said, I think if Ku is patient, like we're seeing here right now, I think if he's patient, keeps up this poke, gets his rage up, I think he'll just be able to keep this Guan down. Recognizing the Guan is techie also. Interesting to see a familiar name here. But I gotta give it to, if the Ku plays smart, I think he wins this matchup with Stampy here.
Well, we're gonna have to wait and see. At the moment, a lot of pressure is in favor of King Stampy on this Kukulin. Seems that Rage transformation is just a little too strong. Over here in the duo lane, we kind of talked on the 1v1. How about the 2v2? Because it looks like the pressure is in favor of the Atlas and Ishtar at the moment.
Yeah, so the thing with the Ishtar, even with on her Kepri, I think just outclears both of them, even if it was a 1v2. You know, having that Atlas here too, I don't know, I haven't seen him use his one yet, so I don't know if he has it, but adding that to the Ishtar, just insane outclear on this on her Kepri.
A little bit of poke there in the mid lane, but nothing really coming out of it. So kind of going back to what we were talking about in picks and bans, these junglers. When I look at when I look at Ravana and Pele, I see very strong early game, very good dive late game. It seems like they both have very similar styles, but which one do you think is better at that style, in your opinion?
Well, I think just because of the safe one has in this early game, he's going to be a bit better until that Pele gets some items online. At that point, I do think Pele will be able to take Bato here, but I think that's I just think Pele's damage over the survivability late game is going to be too much for this Ravana. But we'll see. As Bato is able to steal and secure this purple for the Plebians.
Yeah, a very early purple buff invade, a very early rotation by Dragon too. But he is now half a level down, missed almost an entire wave just to split purple buff. Is that worth it for Dragon? Is he going to fall too far behind against what is already a super high pressure mid laner?
You know, it's a bit risky getting an AMC ahead over you, because AMC just continuous damage. You know, as of right now, I think it was just his ult that was nerfed, so his 2 and 3 is still doing the same amount of damage. Once Trange online, I'm hoping we see a Crusher maybe after this, unless he has to go some anti-heal, as it's looking like Dragon is going to lifesteal at him. I did not catch that until just now.
Yeah, you got Dragon going lifesteal, you've got the Ravana with the healing in his kit, you got Techie with the healing in his kit. So, the anti-heal might do him a little good. We'll have to see where he goes with that. Very early on... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
But I do apologize, but I did just want to say, you know, the anti-heal goes a long way, but do you want the long way, or do you want the Crusher to have a little bit of fun, you know?
Well, personally, I've been on a team with Neptune, and if you know, you know. He is not happy if you don't get anti-heal, so I've been trained to just buy anti-heal whenever there's even a little bit of healing, but you know, especially in this game, where you are going to be constantly getting dove on by this Ravana and Guan Yu, both who have healing in their kit, I don't think it's the worst idea for this AMC. We are going to have to wait and see, as a little bit of invasion over on the blue buff, and it's stolen. King Stampy tossing it out in the volcanic lightning. Snowy puts Real Techie in the dirt for first blood.
Yep, you see Snowy there again, that first blood, while Stampy secured that blue. Just seems like good synergy coming out of this jungle side of the Starhoppers.
Yeah, it really is, and that's really going to send ripples through the rest of the game, because you've got two very high pressure early game gods, and they've already got a lead on their opposition. Techie's down about half a level, and Batu is down almost a full level. How much does that affect your game plan for the Plebians? Because you already said that they are probably looking to go to the late game. Are they going to have to get a little more aggressive or a little more passive now that they are down it where they would normally have pressure?
I think same thing I had said about what Stampy had to do here that he's been doing. You just gonna have to play safe and just try to get just poke them out. Right now you're not too far down. Poking them out, get them low. Don't try to overcommit to anything. I think just keep up the farm game.
Rotation over from animated won't result in anything. Just making sure that there was no trouble of brewing. Meanwhile, his opponent on the left side is still harassing 2 Icy. And now, I've played a fair bit of ADC. I know you're an ADC main. You normally are expecting your support to rotate out at that point, right? I know I've yelled at plenty of random supports to get out of my lane at this late in the game.
Yep. Once about that first item gets online as ADC, you kind of want to just unless you're getting sat on very hardly, or not very hardly, very hard. I think you just you politely ask your support, hey, can you let me stack, get that solo XP, let me get ahead over here,
Well, a big fight breaking out on the red buff. It was stolen away, and they pick a Batu. But with the rotation of the duo laners, will the fight dissipate out? It doesn't look like it, as Icy uses the Desert Fury to get a bit more tick damage. But a red buff and a kill for none. The Starhoppers just drive-by murder right there. And immediately you're looking across the map, and the only person who isn't getting ran at right now is Rushology. Otherwise, every single other person is behind. Where are you hoping for the Plebians to play around now that he's the only one? Are you hoping that they try and get Rush ahead now, or do you think that they try and steady the bleeding everywhere else?
I think they just keep the wards up on Rush's side, let him keep farming. It looks like he's been controlling most of this lane over here. I think that goes to shout out to Ishtar's wave clear. That guy can insanely clear.
It's very
but,
stupid.
Keep the ward. I mean, shoot over walls too. Just steal that purple buff without even having to see their face. But I think just keep the wards up over there. Let him do his thing. I think right now, if you're the Plebians, you need to try to get Dragon back on check here. We see the Soul Gem coming out first. I'm not personally a fan of it. Maybe it's some tech I don't know because I don't know Matt well myself. But probably would have seen some stacks coming out there like we standardly see.
Oh, but the Impale stealing away that scroll. But going back to that Soul Gem, it feels like we're going back in time because that's back in the beginning of this map. I believe that was season 7. No, season 8.
Mm-hmm.
I know I would see everyone just running around with Soul Gem first item, and I didn't understand at the time until I tried it. I'm like, oh, that's why. But it seems like we're going back in time.
Just something I'm not too familiar with seeing anymore. Like I said, I don't play magicals. Maybe some secret tech I don't know about. We'll have to see here. He is now down 2 level Dragon.
He's not the only one.
I mentioned
yes. Yeah, what were you interested in?
I was just saying, like I said, you want to keep trying to get Dragon ahead here as we see that good damage and Bato coming in to get that gank. That was his blink, I do believe, yes. But I think with Dragon, you don't want to keep letting him get behind by sharing all this XP the whole time.
Snowy ulted in and ulted right into his death. He was trying to kayak, but kayak not gonna fall just quite yet. Clucknuck's needing that Scare's blessing to get out, but look at the rotation. Techie might be looking to wrap around behind. He does have that ultimate, but instead he's just gonna go to the back camps. And on the left side, we did see a solo kill, Rushology, taking down 2 Icy. And just like that, it's 2-2, but still a 2k favor, gold favor, on the side of the Starhoppers.
You know, I was bringing that up too. We do see Rush pick up a little kill over there on, is that, 2? Is that how you pronounce it?
2 Icy.
2. Oh, that's catchy. I like that. But, you know, able to get that solo kill off on 2 Icy while everything was popping off from mid. You know, that was the biggest signing brawl we got to see there. Dragon able to capitalize off, like I was said, you know, try getting caught back up. You know, this Morgan can bring a lot to a team fight in these lates. Like I said, Plebians just kind of need to farm, make sure they're getting these levels up. I think they're doing very good about not taking these fights without really needing to right now.
Yeah, and as you say, not taking a fight, they just give up. That blue buff bot 2, deciding to go back to his speed instead of trying to fight for that. Meanwhile, the Scorpion getting taken, and this is something I don't really talk about. I'm very curious. How much do you prioritize the Scorpion? Because it seems very, especially here in the QSL, different divisions very much differ in how much they prioritize it.
So what I have noticed now, I would like to point this out. You know, Yuchi jumped the thing for like 2 games when he first came in. It wasn't for him. I just want to say, Rush over here, 1-2 Icy. Another kill there. I don't really think Kayak was there for most of that. I think that was mainly Rush's damage. So, but real quick, going back to what I was saying. You know, you don't see the Scorpion much when you're over in the ADC lane, where I main. But when you're done securing those and getting you that upgraded purple, that upgraded voice is so nice. So I think going for the Scorpions can be a big deal sometimes.
Well, we see the breastplate cooldown coming in big as Techie had just gotten that ult and immediately he had to just dispense it. So it is Gold Fury for Pyromancer, and obviously that favors the Plebians. The Plebians taking the Gold Fury, which is the more valuable, some would say, objective on the map. But they are still down almost 500 gold, so they've brought it back quite a bit. Or 1,500 gold, I'm sorry. So they brought it back quite a bit, but they haven't really been able to do anything else off of it. How do you want to see these two teams play now that this game is just a lot closer? As Hold That Thought, Icy trying to go in on Rushology, and he brought the Thunder towards him. He does have his mid laner rotating over as well, and he will be able to pick up the kill onto Batu and Animated. He doesn't want this to stop. He's going to get picked up by Kayak, but he doesn't care about any of their damage. He's walking out about half health, a 1 for none over here in the left lane.
I think that was just good recognition there from 2 Icy, able to see, hey guys, you know, didn't see the other people, I don't think, when he first went in, but was like, hey, I think we can take this, let's go for it, Animated, and, you know, they went in, it didn't go originally, I think, how they had planned, but able to make something off of it, killing King Bato there.
Stampy once again stealing that blue buff, and look at the lead. You got 2 levels over in the solo lane and 2.5 now levels in the jungle. This right side of the map has just been dominant for the Starhoppers over the Plebians. So if you're the Plebians, you're looking to focus out this left side, right? Play where you're even instead of trying to help the right side now.
Yep. I do think, I think still the priority, I think just getting Dragon, you know, he's almost caught back up. If we can get him just a couple more kills to where we can control this mid lane, because I don't know if there's actually a word for it, do apologize, still new to casting, but they got this diagonal thing that I've been seeing in a lot of deep sea games, you know, one side being solo controlled by Starhoppers. But if you take that and cut it diagonal, you see Rush on the other side here, just controlling this left side of the map, in my opinion. So I think if whoever really gets the control of this mid lane right now, I think is going to be who's really in charge of more of the map, which is what it's going to come down to. Who's controlling more of the farm? Hey, we're losing one side, but can we make up of it on one side? Kind of vibe.
Well, I'd say right now the Starhoppers are in favor in that mid lane. And over on the left, they're trying to bring it to their favor as well. And Rushology, what are you supposed to do? Stampy teleporting into a ward. And he will be able to get the double kill. And if you're the Plebians, what can you get off of that? The Techie stealing some camps in the back, but you can't really take anything off of that. The only objective up is the Fire Giant. He is looking for the speed buff, though. Is he going to be able to get it? No. Snowy is just going to throw out his little lava ball and force out the cavalry charge as well. Wow, Snowy still has ultimate. This could be big. Oh, a nice blink from Techie will get him out of there. And it'll just be a 2 for none and a couple back camps for the Techie on the Plebians. But my gosh, great timing on that fight.
Yes, I do also want to point out something I do love seeing personally. Too Icy opting to go to make sure these oracles go to the side of the Starhoppers here before he goes for his own purple. Just something you don't see much out ADC, so it's nice to point out when things like that do happen.
Yeah, oracles, even though the Gold Fury is still a minute away, those oracles will still be there when it does eventually spawn, so it'll be nice to see if he does. If they Plebians do try and get a bit frisky and try and sneak a Gold Fury, but Techie teleporting in, trying to save his tower, realizes there's 3 people there and just leaves it.
Yep, Techie like, oh, I don't think I actually can do this. There's more than I realized here. Looking probably just try to hold maybe this Pyromancer, just keep an eye on it while his team finishes this Gold Fury.
It's a very split. There was four blue and 1 red on the right, and 4 red and 1 blue on the left. Just looking to catch out the other, but the cavalry charge coming in. A great leap from Stampy will avoid the stun. And just like that, all that's gone is the cavalry charge. That's a massive win for the Starhoppers. They do rotate around this Gold Fury, and the fight starts right back up. A nice pull by Kayak, just trying to start something, get a little setup for his team, but nothing's going to come out of it. Stampy and Animated, this is the dream for frontliners. No one's challenging you. You're just staring at them saying, do it, I dare you. Stampy does jump in, and now he's the focus. Picked up by Kayak, but in comes Snowy, massive damage, and the volcanic lightning right on the Dragon. Dragon will be the first to fall, and now, just like that, they did get the Gold Fury out through all that too. Snowy and Stampy kept 4 people out as their team did the Gold Fury. Great play by the Starhoppers.
Yes, that was excellent there. I gotta tip my hat to Stampy, man. Just able to take this lead and run away with it. But Q Colin being one of those warriors that's just known. Oh, look at that. Able to blink in there. Barely takes any damage. Too Icy again, a kill on Techie there.
Snowy was rezzed by that Scare's Blessing and double kill for Too Icy. This is falling just completely out of hand for the Plebians. Pyromancer now goes to the Starhoppers as well. What happened in that fight? It looked like the Plebians started that fight, but it just all went wrong.
I don't know. I think right there it's just Too Icy coming in, being icy with it, man. I'm not gonna lie. He came in there. I don't know if you saw it, but he did a massive amount of damage getting that kill on Techie there. And then I believe it was Biggest Kayak that also went down, able to dodge a few autos, eventually getting hit for that last one. Something I'd like to bring up, these ADC builds as well. You know, we see the crit coming out. It's pretty standard right now. While I am more of an auto attack myself kind of ADC, this Odibo able to just do massive work right now. I feel such a good utilization tool in team fights right now.
That was going to be my question, because I like both builds as well when I am playing ADC. Is the crit build just better for Ishtar and the pen build better for on her, or is it some other factor as hold that thought? Actually, Snowy going in, and Rush is trapped. He had no hope there. The Volcanic Lightning trying to pick up Kayak, and it looked like Kayak will fall as well. Another double kill for 2 Icy, and he has really picked up here in this late game.
Real quick before we get back on your question before that, I just want to say that is what I was talking about with the Ishtar situation in comp. You know, like you get enough people there just to be able to block that dash. She kind of she's stuck there. You saw her ult try to get you know, just some time to be able to try to run away on her just into the ults himself. You know, I think that just right there. It's part of the problem I have with Ishtar in comp setting.
Hold on. We got a Fire Giant pull, and it is shredding. Batu blinks in and is obliterated. He was the only one close enough, and that is a 20-minute Fire Giant. No contest. Batu tried to, but he just got obliterated. There was nothing Batu could have done there. As soon as he blinked in, he signed his own death wish, and now they can just get these towers for free, essentially. I mean, if you're the Plebians, you're so far behind, you can't step up to this Fire Giant team.
Not at all. Another thing I'd like to point out, I just noticed, we do see Dragon here opting for the double flat pin. Got that 30% cooldown, but you really think he's going to be able to mess with Stampy right now with that type of build there, Raptor?
Look, I always say if you're going to go double flat pen, you start with it and you're playing Scylla. I'm not a fan of double flat pen, really, especially in this current meta. It just doesn't do enough or nearly as much as, say, a Book of Thoth or a Warlocks does. And then in that Spear of Desolation spot, I want to see a Ob Shard. Stampy has been on your butt this entire game. You need to do some damage to him, and he's just not going to be able to do that as the league grows to over 10k on the side of the Starhoppers. And if you're the Plebians, right, you're feeling pretty demoralized right now, like everything's just falling apart. What are you saying in those comms? How are you bringing this game back?
I think, you know, my biggest thing with any team I've ever been on, you just got to keep the mentals calm. Even if you guys are starting to get a bit angry, frustrated with each other. Sorry about that, guys. Even if you're starting to get a bit angry, frustrated over things happening, even if you and one of your teammates is just having a situation between yourselves, you just got to keep the mentals cool, play it out, realize you can talk after the game. I think in a group together, you know, right here, we see Batu trying to steal the Scorpion. Nice play. He has to ult for it. Didn't secure it, but, you know, just, you know, letting your team know in situations like this where you're in that position, you're behind.
Well, that's the situation we're in now. The two tanks doing the Gold Fury by itself before Icy came over. I know from my experience as a solo laner, when me and the support are doing the Gold Fury alone, we're telling our damage dealers, stay away, we got this. Just as a joke. But this gold lead, this everything, it's up to 13k now. Oh, well, 12 and a half, more like it, on the side of the Starhoppers, and they're going to get this last tower. And look at this. The Plebians are in no spot to defend this left side Phoenix. Techie is still on the right, and he just walked in the tower, so they know that he's there. Batu just got here, and Dragon got blown up. Dragon is gone. Snowy has the Scare's Blessing on him. He's not going to fall. Instead, it's Batu who's going to fall, and Stampy keeping 2 out on the backline. Phoenix falls, and it 2 go down, and it's a 5v3. And Uchi, yep. This could be game if the Plebians are not careful. Though with Snowy recalling, he had to recall because he was so low. I don't know if he can anymore.
I think they still hold the position of power here. You got 20 seconds on Bato and Dragon. I think you got double ADC. Just get your Kepri in there. Let him kind of zone. Get Stampy over there. Kind of just use his ult. I think he did use it when he went in there. Just get that zone. Get that leave. I mean, you see Teggy ulting in there. I think if he would have continued by himself, he just goes down there.
Yeah, that cavalry charge, he started it up, saw that he instantly went down to half health, and then he led Epona right out of there. But going back to this, 25 minutes in, Fire Giant spawns in 45 seconds. So we can assume that the Starhoppers will wait for that to spawn, but man, I just don't see a way the Plebians can get into this. Like, even if they, let's say they hypothetically steal away the Fire Giant and wipe the Starhoppers without losing anyone, they'll still be down in gold, and they won't be able to end. They still got 5 towers on the map. Like, this just does not seem like a dire situation. The Plebians have to win multiple fights at this point.
Yep. You know, we see that almost everybody besides Animate here, 20 on the side of the Starhoppers as well. Highest level on the side of the Plebians is 19. Well, nope, we just saw 20 on Dragon there. But, you know, just, I think just catch up in these levels. You know, Kayak's not too far behind Animate, but everybody else just needs to get those levels and those last items. You know, we see 2 Icy over here. He's got his upgrade to Death Embrace already. No, he's kind of just chilling. Icy been doing a lot of work over here. Same with Stampy. Able to pick that fire, and I think he's take this right Phoenix. I'm gonna assume this is probably close to game here.
Well, they don't know it, but the backliners just finally got back to base for the Plebians, so they didn't have any damage dealers at the time. Rushology does finally join Dragon coming up, but they're not even hesitating. They're going straight into the Phoenix. A great pluck from Vicus Kayak, but doesn't matter. Snowy goes down, takes down Batu immediately, and Stampy zoning up 3. This just might be game as the Phoenix goes down. All 3 Phoenixes down. Kayak goes down. Techie falling very low, but low health bars on the side of the Starhoppers as well. A blink in from Techie. He's going to try and see what he can do, but he's falling very low, and Techie will fall as well. And just like that, there's only 2 left to defend, and it's the 2 backliners, and because of low health bars, I don't know if they can actually end right now. It looks like they are backing up. Or are they? Icy, his recall gets stopped. He was backing on a ward right there, but Uchi, break that down for me. Where did that Phoenix defense go so wrong for them? Is it just because they're so far behind, or did the Starhoppers do something that you liked?
I think that blink in there by what? Actually, no. I think he salmon leaped, if I'm not mistaken. Not actually blink. Stampy just going in there, able to start creating that space. You know, we had talked about it with Apty last night. Getting that space off your solo laner, just let your team able to get in, do so many things. By the time they were able to start kind of a defense on that right Phoenix, man, I think it was already halfway down with this double ADC comp.
Well, we are 28 minutes into this game and a 17,000 gold lead. This, oh my gosh. And now they, oh, Batu just blinks away out of fear right back into the Phoenix. Techie teleporting in, but there you don't care. That Fire Giant damage just allows them to instantly take down that Phoenix. It looks like they're going to wait for this mid Phoenix to spawn as well, possibly. Stampy just staring at them.
Personally, I'm a fan of this play right here. You know, just making sure this middle Phoenix is down. As we had said, really nothing going completely south if they do get wiped here. So I think Starhopper's recognizing, hey, just keep this down. What are they going to do? Get a couple T2s tops?
As soon as Fire Minions enter the Titan room, Stampy blinks in and ults, and just like that, not too much damage actually going onto the players. Instead, it's going onto the Titan, and Cluckinus will not fall. He will take down the Titan. Game 1 to the Starhoppers.
Yeah, that was, I think, just good teamwork and able to capitalize off those early leads I was talking about that the Starhoppers had the ability with. You know, like I said, if you're Plebians, had to play for that late game, I think, with your comp. Just group up. You guys have the CC domination. You just got to survive the damage.
I'm just looking at these numbers. Snowy does 23,000 damage. The next closest to him was Rushology, going 19,000 damage. This Pele, man... We were talking about the jungle matchup all game, the Pele versus the Ravana. Both of them, great early pressure, but just as good late game dive potential. Snowy just looked really, really good, almost unstoppable on this Pele. Batu never was able to get the ball rolling, though.
Yeah, Bato, I think if you're Bato, I think you just start recognizing, Techi's not getting those blue buffs at the time. I think just start trying to get that left side of the map a bit more cleaned up. Again, I don't know if there's a name for it, but I saw that diagonal thing where one lane's getting winning on one side and the other is winning on the other side. I think when it gets to those situations, you just got to play off mid. I think whoever gets that mid dominance is going to just end up controlling more of the map and more of the farm.
So if you are the Plebians, are you saying to just... Are you telling Batu, hey, make sure Dragon gets ahead. Make sure Dragon doesn't fall behind. And maybe look at banning out this AMC and Pele.
Yeah, maybe try to ban out some more pressure off that mid combo. The jungle in the mid. Just if you get Dragon ahead, Dragon was first on his team, 220. If once he got some more percent pin, maybe a Soul Reaver somewhere in there, if he switched something out, I think he'd be able to help a lot more in these fights, especially, like I said, the Plebians over here. If they got off that CC late game and was able to just group up and, get those last items online they need, I think a lot of these fights may have went a bit differently.
Well, we are going to have to see what adjustments the Plebians do make in game number 2, but we will take a quick break just before that. Be sure to stick around.
Watching the ocean with you, baby, up with a slow motion crew, and we up in our cloudlands when people change, but not us, and we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun, could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey, and I don't need to speak a single word. Cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it, and I don't need to speak a single word. Cause you got me holding, Cause you got me holding, and I'll be running, possessed by a long, low voodoo, fired up like a wolf on a full moon, and we're stuck in a la-la land. The tides will turn without us, and I'll be killing time like I might be a cartoon. Take it in real life like haiku. I know we got the good vibes when pieces fall right into place. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey, and I don't need to speak a single word. Cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it, and I don't need to speak a single word. Cause you got me holding, holding. Cause you got me holding, holding. Cause you got me holding. Play me like a bass guitar, simmer down and mess me up, tripping like I'm Jimmy at Woodstock. Drive me around in your red Ford, shivers down my spinal cord. Cause you got me holding, holding. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey, and I don't need to speak a single word. Cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it, and I don't
again. Trying hard, but you wanna be my friend. Ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. Here we go again. Call my bluff, I'ma be here till the end. I'm the one you ride, I'm the one you ride to. If you don't wanna change, ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. If you don't wanna change, I can help you out, 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 I can help you out. Here we go again. Time is up and I'm calling up my friends. Ain't no wonder why, ain't no one to ride to. Here we go again. Call me up and you wanna be my friend. I'm the one you ride, I'm the one you ride to. If you don't wanna change, ain't no place to hide.
And I've been chillin', watching the ocean with you. Baby, up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our cloudlands when people change, but not us. And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. 'Cause you got me holding. 'Cause you got me holding. And I'll be running, possessed by a low, low voodoo. Fired up like a wolf on a full moon. And we're stuck in a la la land. The tides will turn without us. And I'll be killing time like I might be a cartoon. Take it in real life like haiku. I know we got the good vibes when pieces fall right into place. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. 'Cause you got me holding. 'Cause you got me holding. Play me like a bass guitar, simmer down and mess me up, tripping like I'm Jimmy at Woodstock. Drive me around in your red Ford, shivers no cord. 'Cause you got me holding. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it.
go again. Trying hard, but you wanna be my friend. Ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. Here we go again. Call my bluff, I'ma be here till the end. I'm the one you ride, I'm the one you ride to. If you don't wanna change, ain't no place to hide, ain't no one to run to. If you don't wanna change, I can help you out, 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 I can help you out. Here we go again. Time is up and I'm calling up my friends. Ain't no wonder why, ain't no one to ride to. Here we go again. Call me up and you wanna be my friend. I'm the one you ride, I'm the one you ride to. If you don't wanna...
I think you definitely gotta ban out the AMC. And I think Rush was holding his own till On Her started rotating. I don't think you need to ban out the On Her, but ban out the AMC, ban out the Pele probably. It just seemed like there was a lot of problems coming from those two. Swampy, or was it Swampy? Can't remember. With the coup, he was able to do his own thing. You can look at banning out some solos maybe too. Stampy, sorry. Kepri ult just brings so much. He's got a lot of appeal for his backline as well, able to grab with that silence. He's got a root too if they try to get away. I think Kepri's a good ban. As you had mentioned last game, him and Umoja probably being the two most, I'd say, best supports as far as comp saying can go. And, just taking away both those options. As we do see the Hades ban, we talked about the SPL players, a lot of them thinking that Hades is top solo right now.
Yeah, by the way, big shout out to Princess Zero in chat. I did not notice how it's muted. I did not mute myself. I don't know how that happened, but thank you for pointing that out. But yes, going through these very similar bans besides the Kepri, in that slot, it was actually who was it in that slot in game one? It was Naja. They banned the Naja instead in game one. Do we see a Naja picked up now that it's on the table?
Yeah, it's a possibility. It's open, but the Plebians playing around what they think they're going to pick up what I think is a bit more above Atlas. I think Ganesh just brings a lot more to the table. Very good support. You can pick him, top tier. It plays just about into anything. In the words of somebody I know, the guy just plays itself kind of.
Yeah, he really does, and Ganesh just shuts down so much too. I can't tell you how many times I've dove in as a jungler and then had that silence just completely wreck at all of my plans. But this is a god that kind of doesn't care about that. Cthulhu, he goes in. The most Ganesh can do is predict the blink or the dash or whatever, and silence him out. But once Cthulhu goes in that ult, he does not care about that Ganesh at all.
Yep, you know, Cthulhu, something I had mentioned before, I believe it was
Your
last night
time
actually.
has
Oh,
come.
okay, I'm sorry, I'll bring it back to that, but, you know, seeing the Morgan here, a double Cthulhu is actually going to be quite annoying. I don't know if, everybody watching has seen this before, but, this is just truly an annoying comp on the side of the Starhoppers here.
Yeah, but on the other side, we see the Achilles, and that execute. Achilles known to be one of Cthulhu's bigger counters because of that execute, but the Zhang Kui hover, I don't even really want to talk about it because I think it's just going to be a bait. To stay on this Achilles, why is Achilles such a good matchup into Cthulhu?
You
And
know?
how does it fare with the two Cthulhus?
Uh, you know, the two, because his ult is continuous, it could
They
go
will
a good
all
way, it could go a
obey
bad way. We'll
their
have to see
goddess.
once we get into game. But you know, Achilles, as you pointed out, Cthulhu, when he even when he goes big, you know, increases his health. If you get that threshold there for the Achilles ult, you can just knock him out, not even have to worry about fighting him when he's big boy.
And let's not forget that because his health increases, so does the low, like the minimum amount of health that Cthulhu, maximum, I'm sorry, amount of health that Cthulhu has to be in for that execute threshold. So it just
Yep.
makes it easier for him to reach that threshold as well. And with an Ishtar who can build kins really well, this Cthulhu, he might have to watch out. I'm curious to see how the two Cthulhus work on the Kabrakan, though, being picked up. And Kabrakan, so last game we saw the Kepri versus the Atlas in the support battles. Now we're seeing the Ganesh versus the Kabrakan. How do those two gods compare?
You know, Kabrakan bringing a lot of that aggression, Ganesh bringing a lot of that safety and utility for the backline on these late games. You know, something I just thought about though, seeing these top three banned before we get into these bans real quick, is what if instead of double Cthulhu, we go double Kabrakan, get that ult down, and then the Cthulhu just goes big, and they're locked there without that shell. You know, only Ganesh really able to get out until those balls are down.
If you want my 2 cents, I don't think that's nearly as strong, since especially if this Ishtar does go that attack speed build and build a lot of attack speed, it only takes like 4 or 5 hits to bring down that wall, so it won't really be as effective as I think it would, as I think you're thinking in theory. We did see the CERN hovered here for the Starhoppers, but it is going to be the Cupid. Now, on her was still on the table, and he looked very, very good on that on her. Why are we seeing him switch to the Cupid this time?
You know, Cupid being one of those gods with this comp they're running, just it's gonna bring a lot of utility to these team fights. You know, everything kind of being based, whatever this Morgan and Cthulhu ults are gonna be. Like you said, I do think the double Cthulhu is the best play as well. But you know, there's just so many options that could spice this up. You know, Morgan could go Bracken, Cupid could go the Ganesh, put up an extra pillar while you know, just something's happening. Just so many deadly options for this Morgan and mid.
I was really hoping that the Plebians were going to lock in that E set, and I would make a joke about damage Ganesh going mid, but it does look like they are looking for their mid laner, as the Merlin is hovered now. As along with that Ravana, Batu might be wanting to look for that Ravana once again, but it's switched over to a Thanatos.
Something I do want to bring up here, Yu Hong is still open. You know, I know the Cupid ult does force you to beads before you can 3 still, but I think the Yu Hong just be a good pick into this.
Even
Okay.
gods must heed the scales of fate.
Do I go on a rant, or do I not?
I think you speak your piece, Rap. What you got, bro?
Okay, I will shorten it down. Nemesis? I love Nemesis. She is the only god I have any stars on, and I have 2, almost 3 stars on her. I absolutely love Nemesis, and especially into a Cthulhu. This Nemesis is like I said, Achilles is a good counter into Cthulhu. Nemesis is the counter into Cthulhu. But with this Susanoo hover, I'm not feeling as confident in it. Nemesis can still box the Susanoo very easily, But if she mistimes that shield, that Susanoo's Wind Siphon, as the Susanoo does get locked in, that Susanoo's Wind Siphon, the pull, it could really screw... it instantly, Nemesis just loses that fight. So Nemesis is going to have to play around this. I still love the god, and anyone who knows me in my team server, yeah, there's a reason my name is that. I'm not going to say it on stream because I'm not sure if we're allowed to or not, but it's not anything. It's not actual profanity. I just don't know if I'm allowed to say it or not. But going and looking at these comps, I've talked my piece. How do you feel about the Nemesis and especially into the Susanoo pick?
You know, I gotta give it. It's like we were talking about at the start of last game. It's like we were talking about at the start of last game. Susanoo, just one of those sleeper picks that I don't think enough people recognize. You know, he was good before his buff. They gave him that buff. I think if you're somebody that knows how to play Susanoo, it's so much utility right now going in. You know, just like I had said too, though, this arsenal with this this Morgan that, you know, the side of the Starhoppers have. I mean, you got options on the Plebians too, but any arsenal you choose off of the Starhoppers here is just deadly for another add into this mix.
Yeah, for sure. So let's just not waste any more time. Let's just talk about matchups as teams as a whole. We can get into matchups once we get into game, but as a whole, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked in game 1. Who do you favor just off of the drafts?
I gotta give this one fully early, late comp, anything. I think the Starhoppers just did a phenomenal job with this draft, this game. You know, there's answers the Plebians have, and there's ways they can make this work. I think it's going to come down to those late team fights, or maybe just getting this Achilles ahead. But I gotta give the comp to the Starhoppers this game. It's just a phenomenal draft in my opinion. With the exception, they keep the Achilles down. If Achilles is able to get ahead over here, I believe that's Techie on solo side of the Plebians. If Techie can get ahead, I see the Plebians having a shot, but I really see that being the only way out of this Starhoppers if they're able to just full pile drive ahead.
That's saying a lot, because when I'm looking at these drafts, yes, there's the Cthulhu, there's the Cupid, there's the Cabrakan, there's the Susanoo. Yes, a very good late game comp. But you look at the other side, and I see a Nemesis, I see a Merlin, and I see an Ishtar. All three really gods, once they hit 6 item, they are really, really good, and they're at their strongest point in the game. I don't know, especially with this Cthulhu, I think that they will be able to handle the double Cthulhu extremely well, in my opinion. I don't know who I would pick, but because you've made some very good points as well. I won't deny that you made some very, very good picks, but I can see this being a lot closer than you might think. As I do have to apologize, we are, it seems like Stampy is experiencing some technical difficulties getting into the game, so we are going to...
And I've been chilling, watching the ocean with you. Baby up with a slow motion crew. And we up in our clouds when people change, but not us. And we just chillin', kicking it, kissed by the sun. Could be soaked to the skin in the mall soon. I know she got the good vibes when seasons change, but we're the same. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me holding, holding. Take it in real life like haiku. I know we got the good vibes when pieces fall right into place. Even if I lost all my money, the zero runs deep, honey. And I don't need to speak a single word, 'cause you got me honey, honey. Even if my jokes aren't funny, my tongue tied up on it.
And welcome back. I'm sorry for that delay, but we are back into game number 2. Starhoppers with the 1-game lead over the Plebians. And looking at builds, I'm not seeing anything too out of the ordinary. Though it does look like we are seeing an earring coming out of Techie here. Do you think that's the right play for Achilles, especially with this Warriors X starter?
You know, this is another thing with this Manicorns discussion I've had before. I'm assuming that's going into a Manicorns. But you know, is the 2 gonna be enough to stun the Cthulhu, grab that, and I believe what would be the next best ability, 3? You know, how much is it going to provide into this breastplate that the Cthulhu, I'm assuming, is going?
Yeah. What if he went Bobble? What if he just threw us all for a loop and went Bobble Achilles? In all honesty, knowing Techie, that's something I could see him doing, but we'll just have to wait and see. Looking at this mid lane, though, is something that we haven't really talked about because we've been focusing kind of everywhere else. How do you feel about this Morgan and Merlin matchup? It seems like it's a very late game matchup on both sides, so I'm not expecting to see much happen there, personally.
Yeah, you know, I think the main thing that's going to differentiate these two here once we hit level 5 is just that, we do see Snowy getting in there, just trying to show Bato a little what's up. Yeah, Techie turned the corner like, oh man, what's going on? But, you know, I think the Morgan's ult is just going to, like I said, if the Plebians can stop the Star Hoppers from getting ahead here, I think they really need to focus getting Techie ahead. I think he's going to be the biggest component here when it gets to this late game. Oh, snap. You see Dragon taking quite a bit of poke there.
Yeah, Dragon taking a lot of damage there in mid. He's not going to fall, though, but he will have to play a lot more carefully, and that means that they might just have to give up these left-hand mids. Snowy and Clucknuts rotating over. He throws out the Fire Dragons, but that's going to be all he does. And it looks like all 3 do go to the side of the Starhoppers.
You know, he at least tried to get in there. You know, tried to make sure they could get him. I do think those went to the side of the Starhoppers, though.
Indeed, they did. And so, oh well, Snowy really feeling himself after last game. Batu falling super low. Is he gonna fall? No. He will just barely survive. And Batu has to back very early, and he's already about half a level down. And with this blue buff spawning, that means that he's not going to be able to come over and help out Techie, and they might just have to give up this blue buff again. That's something that we saw them doing constantly in Game 1. And look at this, a red buff invade as well. Starhopper's off to a very early lead here.
You know, this is what I was hoping the Plebians would be able to stop. This is just a beginning of a small snowball starting on the side of the Starhoppers. Sorry about that.
Yeah, it really is. It's kind of as you said, the Starhoppers, they really do look like they look like, and they're playing like they just had the better draft, and they know they had the better draft. And it really looks like they're playing that and trying to take advantage of it. It's funny, just before that happened, I was going to say, oh, you know, these are 2 pretty late game junglers as well. So I'm not expecting to see a whole lot out of them either. And immediately we see a red buff invade and Batu almost falling. But I'll still ask the question. These are 2 fairly late game junglers. So besides what we've seen so far, contrary to what we've seen so far actually, are you expecting to see much out of these junglers, or are you expecting to just see a bunch of farming until like 10 minutes?
I think, you know, Snowy's going to get a little more active, I think, over Batu in this game, just because of the CC that, and the chase down that Susno is able to provide here. You know, give Merlin's blink down if you're Clucknuts here. Good Dragons blink down, you know, have Snow around the corner, show up. I don't know. I think the chase down on Snowy is a bit better than Bato, and so Bato gets you know, that first item online. Looks like he's going for a crusher. You know,
A big fight coming out over here on the left side. The Plebians did hit 5 first, and they took full advantage of that. Both are very low, but with the Cupid Hearts, they will be able to heal up a little bit, as along with that Death Toll and Tier 1 Gauntlet. Icy is not in too much trouble right now, but man, that was very close and animated now. Has to be a little more wary.
yeah. You know, he is Cabrakan though, just sitting there big chilling. You know, Cabrakan just one of those guys don't like he's usually able to get out for a tank. It's kind of
Clucknut's invisibility caught out right there, but looks like nothing's really going to come out of it. Snowy teleporting in, but it looks like he's not going to be punished for it. Snowy had a very dominant performance in Game 1, but that was with a character that is good at all sections of the game. You know, you had Snowy, or you had the Pele, who's really aggressive and good in that early game, and then can just dive very easily. Now he's on the Susano, where yes, he can dive very easily in the late game and can burst down anyone, but doesn't have that early game aggression, at least not built into the character that we saw in Game 1. Is that going to make a big difference in how he plays this map?
I don't know. I personally find Susano to be started to be very oppressive once he hits about that 8 or 9. You know, get an item or 2 online maybe, get those abilities a bit leveled up, and then I think he's just a menace from that point on. You know, he gets that early damage off in the beginning too. He does a bit more than Nemesis, I feel, early game, as I had said, just because of the CC, and the chase down ability he brings. So. I'm a bit torn because I think overall Bato, if he can get to this full late game, I think he'll be able to just shred faster than Snowy's going to be able to get off these abilities maybe. But we'll see as Dragon's all alone. Like, oh snap, we got 3 here, guys.
Yeah, Clucknut's just trying to get any sort of advantage over Dragon, though Dragon does have the lead right now despite having his red stripped away from him a couple times. So obviously doing very good on that farming job. But kind of going back to what you said and looking at the other side, we went from a Ravana for Batu for the Nemesis, and there you saw one of the gimmicks. The ultimate was great out of animated, but that dash from Ganesh, he doesn't get stopped by any sort of player-made wall. Rashology's in a huge amount of trouble. He should just fall here. The Divine Judgment coming out onto Snowy, but he's not the target for Batu. Batu's changed his targets over to Icy. He does force Icy back, and it looks like he is going to make it back to Kayak, but very questionable positioning there from Rushology, and First Blood goes right over to Icy, who's the last person Rush wants to see get First Blood.
Yeah, you know, I had said it last game, Rush able to kind of, I think, contain the lane on to Icy, but once Icy was able to rotate out, man, just able to do a phenomenal job on that on her. So now it's looking like Icy's like, hey, I'm gonna get that First Blood, that gold. I'm gonna get that balanced blade over your light blade. Let's just keep moving along in this lane, man.
Poor Techie, man. He hasn't had a blue buff since minute 1, and now he's getting dove under tower and Cthulhu ulted, and he's gonna fall down as well. Poor Techie, man. I actually feel bad for the man.
Yeah, I had mentioned it. I think after last performance, you know, I thought Rush be fine over here by himself. You know, leave Rush on his own, let him do his thing again. Try to get Techie ahead is what I was thinking. You know, Techie going to be a huge instrument in these late game fights. But, too Icy getting a bit poked there, but he's like, nah, I got hearts, I'm good. But as I was saying, Techie, I think, getting him ahead. He's 2 levels down now. Hasn't had much of a blue. He's got the mana corns, tries to sustain some mana. Cluck trying to go for purple. He's got the crew to back him up now.
Yeah, once Cluck wasn't going to have any issue with that purple. Then his kayak shows up, and he still wasn't going to have any issue with the purple. And then the rest of his boys show up, and he's like, yeah, just run away with this man. But Animated, getting caught out a little. The slow from the Dharmic Pillars not going to catch him thanks to that first ability. And he's going to be out. And that's the Dharmic Pillars down for free. And just like that, that's being called out to the team. They can really do a lot off of knowing that's down.
Yeah, most definitely. We also see, this level difference on this Cthulhu. What Warriors Axe? I'm used to seeing the Conduit gem on, Cthulhu or Ardia or something solo over here.
We saw Conduit Gem last night and just how much work it did, but there is the Divine Judgment onto King Stampy, and that's the ability along with the Execute. That's the combo that I was saying any Cthulhu has to look out for. Dragon falling very low, though, thanks off of the late rotation by Snowy, and now Batu caught in the walls, but the double dash will be able to get him out, and just like that, he is home free. A 1-for-1 in the end. Solo from mid. Techie, though, he does blink in, and Animated gets the stun off on him, but with no follow-up, he's just going to retreat. They do get the totem, though. Okay, who does that favor? They got Stampy down, but they also lost Dragon, and they just lost their blue buff again. Techie has not gotten a blue buff in
9 minutes?
10 minutes. 10 minutes now.
I do want to say, getting that Stampy down, we didn't lose Techie still, I don't think. It was just Dragon that went down, correct?
Yes, it was a 1-for-1.
Yep. So, getting Techie ahead, like I said, I think that's where you gotta play right now. It looks like even off that death, Dragon's still the same level over here as Clucknuts. Like I said though, the Morgan, that ult just gonna be a bit more impactful, I think, till this Merlin gets to the late game. Still staying Bookathoth on his end with a full Doom Orb on the side of Clucknuts.
Poor Kayak. What is he supposed to do? He puts up his silence, but the one is already activated by Cabrakan. He can't stop the Cabrakan from just running at his Merlin. But I do tend to agree with you. Losing Dragon there isn't the worst thing in the world, but if you look at the net worth charts, both of them are still behind. Both Dragon and Techie are still behind their lane opponents despite that fight over and right. So you gotta think the Starhoppers, even if it did favor the Plebians, they are still doing a very good job at farming, as they are up about 3k.
Yeah. There goes the ult. Kayak getting a bit pieced up right now, making sure he can't leave. Getting to IC to 3-0. His Devo's fully stacked. Got the XE unlock as well.
And that opens up the Gold Fury, and they pull it right away. The Plebians already know. Russia has made the call out. They're going to take that Pyromancer. Gold goes for free over to the Starhoppers, and that would be in favor of the Starhoppers anyway. But even with, well, I should say, if you include the kill onto Kayak, that's just overwhelmingly in their favor. They're coming up on 4k gold in the lead right now. Only 13 minutes in. Techie blinking in onto 2, trying to get the execute onto Stampy. Not going to be able to hit it. And with Animated here, he has to be extremely careful, and he does just run back to lane. He does save his blue buff from being stolen. So Techie, with that blink, he might just be able to get his first blue buff of the game.
Techie? I'm actually really hyped to see if this man gets this blue buff. As we've said, not a single one since minute 1 here. But it looks like 3 people still there.
It looks like he's more interested on making sure Stampy, specifically, doesn't get that blue buff. And he is finally going over to collect his blue buff. Nice play there by Techie, but it doesn't change the fact that he is down. And
What?
so based off of how this early game has gone, you actually I guess I don't need to ask this. You already said earlier that the Starhoppers just win through all phases of the game. So obviously this early game favors the Starhoppers in every way, right? Like there's not much that the Plebians can do except just stall this game out and hope for the team fighting phase, right?
Yeah, like I said, if I'm the Plebians, my mindsets would have been get Techie ahead, let Rush do his own thing with farming. Those are your two that you really, really want to get ahead, and you want to kind of get Bato a little bit ahead as well, because you're going to need those shred capabilities and that execution when these teams could start happening. But you know, there's still a chance. You know, the Plebians, if they hit late game, there's still a chance they can win this. I just think the amount of zoning that's going to be able to be allowed because of the Starhoppers draft is just going to be phenomenal. You know, we see right there, they have to back away. Bato, Bato actually securing that kill on Clucknuts there. That was actually really nice.
Snowy dashes back in and gets a massive amount of damage onto Rush and Dragon. Rush will fall in. Oh, the heart bomb just off the mark, but in the backline. Dragon picks up Icy. Icy getting a little too greedy, and Snowy teleports back in, and Batu picks him up. Animated might get the double kill here, but the silence keeps him from using the tremors and the execute. Techie beating Stampy out on the rotation. Oh my gosh.
That's exactly what I was talking about. Plebeians need to do, especially when it gets to this late game. But what they just did there is exactly kind of what I was talking about. You know, you got to be able to get these separations, deal with this zoning, and be able to push back in. I think that was just a great overall just grouping, you know, once everybody got there by the Plebeians.
Yeah, it really was. And I know we didn't see the start of that fight, but it really did just look like the Starhoppers won the fight initially, then lost a member, started to back up, then we're like, no, we still got this, get a kill, but then lose another member. And then they're like, oh, we still got this, Snowy teleports in, gets taken down, and all of a sudden it turns into a losing fight. So I wish I was in the comms for the Starhoppers right there, just because I want to hear what they were thinking going into that fight. But that fight doesn't really hurt them in a whole lot. Like, they're still ahead almost 3k gold.
Yep. We do see Icy making sure that ward goes down. Rush was able to see him for a second there. Looks like it's just a battle of the farm and cups right now after everything that just happened. Do like to ask you though, you know, not too familiar with magicals, with the Morgan on this Clucknuts. What do you think about this Deso after this?
Well, speaking of the Morgan, she is able to pick up a kill onto King Batu and is able to get out. Dragon looking worse for wear as well. And oh, the feels of love coming in. And oh, Dragon survives with such little health. Not the Cataclysm, the Cabrakan ult comes out and is able to get the kill. Rush doing so much damage with those ults, and Snowy throwing out the teleport. Oh, he teleports right into tower, but he gets out? Are you kidding me? Snowy actually survives there. Animated will fall to the execute, but how did Snowy survive that? Now Icy is on a collision course with Techie, and he's doing so much damage. That's not going to be a stun on the heart bomb, but it looks like he's just going to keep on going in. A nice stun by Techie will keep him alive, but with Snowy coming, he blinks right into Snowy, in fact, and Snowy will be able to pick up the kill on Techie. I can't even keep track of how many died in that fight because they're all respawning now.
You know, I do just want to say though, when you know, as I said, I'm main ADC. When you're in two icy situation there, you got a warrior just in front of you. You know, you got a little bit of that damage online. You got that XE, that Quins. You know, you should be hitting him. When you're just standing there though, and he's right in front of you, all that defense, it's not usually a happy picture. But Icy able to survive. Team gets there. Snowy picking up that beautiful play off that blink.
Yeah, Snowy. I need to wrap my head around what just happened. Okay, so Snowy goes under tower, right? And he throws out his okay. I'm trying to think back to the beginning because it was so long ago. So he's fighting and he falls a little low, about half health. He throws out his teleport and hits Dragon and takes him down. And then he runs into Techie, so he instinctively teleports in. I'll hold that thought, actually. Techie, speaking of the devil, falling a little bit low, about half health now, getting caught between 4 people. And with him falling so low, he's able to stick around, but that opens up the Gold Fury to be pulled by the Star Hoppers, and Snowy falling very low. So unfortunate for Snowy. He teleports right back onto the Dharmic Pillars, but the Plebians actually somehow steal that away, and thanks to the flicker, Merlin is able to get away from there. And just like that's a 1-for-1, and they're able to steal the Gold Fury. Kayak will be able to get out. 1-for-1. Plebians steal the Gold Fury away somehow. It's jungle for ADC. I want to know, how did they steal that?
You know, I didn't actually see. I was paying attention to what was happening over there with Stampy and everything, but
even if you weren't, we had a big Cthulhu in our way. I didn't even know that they were trying to steal. I thought that all 5 were on the Cthulhu and Susanoo trying to take them down, but they are able to somehow steal away that Gold Fury. And now they get the Pyro. Almost stolen away, actually, by that Merlin. They do get the Pyro, though, so it's 1-for-1 and a Gold Fury for a Pyromancer. And Plebians taking away what would have been a fairly big loss and turning it into their favor.
Yeah, you know, I think in that trade, in my opinion, the Plebians got a little bit more. You know, Starhopper's still a bit ahead in gold, but Plebians able to make the most off of that, getting you know, Snowy a little bit out for a little bit. You know, we see that Bato's down 3 levels here. If he would have been able to get a little bit of farm, I'd like to see that, as he's actually beating Snowy as I'm talking.
That is what I said earlier. I wasn't expecting the scenario of 3 levels down, though, so consider me fairly surprised. I want to see, what's he leveling? So he does have that shield fully leveled, and that makes his, as on the left side, it looks like a purple invade, actually, and it looks like he actually got the purple, but he did fall to Icy. But that's what I was saying during picks and bans. Actually, hold that thought. Dharmic Pillars coming out. They're trying to start a fight. Dragon's flicker, it must not be up. He is completely caught out. And Dragon, is he going to fall? I don't know. It doesn't look like it. The Spruits will finish him off. And Clucknuts actually turned into the Susanoo, trying to go in onto Thickest Kayak, and the Ganesh kill! We got a Ganesh kill, people! Ganesh, and will he fall for his sins, though? No, he will not! Thickest Kayak getting the Ganesh kill. He's unable to save Dragon, but taking down Clucknuts, that's just as good.
Yeah, you know, I think that's the first one of the season, if I'm not mistaken.
First one I've seen, at least.
Yeah, Ganesh kill there, going to Thickest Kayak. You know, don't see it very often, but there you are.
And Clucknuts wanted that fight, right? Like, he was out. There was nobody. Thickest Kayak wasn't chasing him. But Clucknuts uses the Changeling ultimate, turns into Snowy, turns into that very fed Susanoo, and goes back in with almost no health, and he pays the price for it. Congratulations to Thickest Kayak, by the way, for getting our first, at least that I've seen, kill as a Ganesh. Yeah, and they're slowly bringing this back.
As well.
So, Uchi, I am very curious. If you're the Plebians, you're seeing all this happening, but you're still down almost 3K. You're slowly bringing it back, but is it enough? What else do they have to do to put themselves in a good position coming into late game?
I think if you're able to stop this fire right here, maybe steal this, you know, right now, you see Rush on left. You know,
They don't even know what's happening.
Yeah, don't over.
No one has any clue that this is happening. Instead, they drop it, trying to go on Techie. Techie is not going to get mez by that Fields of Love. Has to use the ultimate to get out. But the wall, the Kabrakan wall, a great double stun. But he might be in big trouble. A lot of ultimates used just to kill Techie, though. And you know Techie's calling that out. This suddenly becomes a fairly favorable fight for the Plebians. But they are still down a man, so they do have to be careful about how they go about this. But still, Techie, you have to be proud of what you did. You made them waste 3 ultimates, and 3 pretty big ultimates. The only ones up, though, are Stampy and Clucknuts, so they got to be careful of that double Cthulhu, or even Cthulhu and double Susano.
Yeah, you know, I think right now, why they got what they got, I think the Star Hoppers are still in a more favorable position, because this Fire Giant's half health. We do see the Dharmic Pillars go up here. Is it going to be enough with the tick? Nope. Star Hoppers do secure. We see the Cthulhu ult in the back, but Rush able to pick up the kill on Stampy. Bato able to get animated down. It looks like things are going on the side of the Plebians, even though the Star Hoppers have secured fire here.
Yeah, Starhoppers get fire. Snowy going in on Batu, and he looks like he's trying to go in on Rush. Could this be a bit too much though with Kayak here as well? Snowy pops the ultimate, and he will get a triple kill. Snowy turning that from a bad into great, and suddenly it's a 3 for. He turns what was a 3 for none into a 3 for 3 in Fire Giants. Snowy alone. Oh my gosh. Fantastic play by this Susano.
Yes, I do want to say, you know, that Crusher, Heartseeker, I don't think a lot of people realize, man, that is some damage right there. And seeing that Bloodforge pick, oh, I just want to say, that was a nice, clean juke right there.
Susano's so mobile, and then you add in that blink. Yikes.
Yeah, that was pretty. He was all like, oh no, it's Techie. He was like, nope, I'm out, bro. See you later.
He played the damsel in distress just to draw him in. But I do want to ask you something. And actually, no, it's still very applicable. I have my own thoughts on this. Crit Nemesis. Why?
Alright, okay. Anybody that knows me, I'm not too good at jungle myself, but I do play Arachne. I have the same opinion of Crit Nemesis as I do Crit Arachne. I'm not too big a fan. I don't think you really need the crit on those characters. I think on the shred abilities, the shreds that are able to be built on them, is just a lot better, just overall for the whole thing.
Well, there's a dance around this Oni Fury, though. Techie able to just get in, going right onto Icy. The Dharmic Pillars coming out, but look at Batu. He just immediately gets shredded, and I don't know if he can come back into this fight. He is down to half health. A great stun into the final judgment will bring down Animan, but everyone else is just falling around him. Stampy falling very low. Snowy picking up the 2 on the backline. Dragon falling so low, and he's the only one still left around. Snowy and Stampy are very low, but they're still here. They are going to have to be careful, though. Clucknuts and Icy taking tons of damage from that Merlin. And Snowy, he wants Dragon so badly. He is chasing him around. Did you think he saw Dragon go into the jungle? Do you think he knows he's here? He's about to run into him anyway. And Dragon is going to fall. A deicide for the Starhoppers. They only lose Animated, and they get the Oni Fury. Yikes! That just puts the Plebians into an even bigger hole. Oh my gosh!
You know, the other thing I really want to point out here too is, you know, we talked about this comp with the Plebians. You know, late game is probably going to be their best team fight. You know, you have your Nim online, you have your Merlin online, you have a full build Ishtar. You know, and I think that Merlin was showing, you know, it's late game now. I can pump out them damage if you guys aren't fully on me, but able to just wipe the rest of the team very fast on the side of the Starhoppers here. Yeah. We'll just chase Dragon down. The damage wasn't enough at that point.
So I do kind of want to go back to this Nemesis's build, because I do want to point something out. I'm not going to comment on it. I have my own thoughts on Crit Nemesis, but we did see him pick up tier 2 Deathbringer there at the start initially. Sold it so he could finish off Seer of the Jungle, and then now it looks like he's going into Magi's Cloak. Well, he already has this Wind Demon, so we already know he wants this crit. Would you have preferred to see the Deathbringer over the what I presume is Magi's Cloak?
No, we saw it pretty quickly there with Stampy burning the shelter out of Thickest Kayak before that fight even started. I think grabbing another Magi's here, I really just don't understand the Wind Demon, okay? I'm looking at Nem's build, King Batos here. I don't think the Wind Demon has a spot here. The Magi's, I'm actually loving the pickup on this. I already upgraded the Exy though, so he won't be able to get that Magi's Revenge. But I don't see a place for this Wind Demon here, man. That's my personal thoughts on this.
Yeah, like I said, I'm not going to comment on it. I have my own thoughts, but Techie, he wants to say something as he goes in on Snowy, and both of them leave at about the same percentage of health, but that just means that Snowy did a lot of damage and Techie did enough damage. This Susanoo is swinging, and if you're on the side of the Plebians, you really have to just be calling out where this Susanoo is at all times, because if you don't know where he is, at any point he could just come in and two-shot any one of your characters. And just like that, look at the damage done to King Batu! But Icy falling extremely low, trapped in that Dharmic Pillars. Going to the backline, though, was Clucknuts. And Clucknuts not able to bring anyone super low. And oh, look! Fantastic pull by Dragon. Gets the shutdown onto Snowy. And that is the go button for the Plebians. Techie uses the ultimate to take down Animated. And with that, Kins... that immediately Stampy falls. Icy is able to pick up Techie, but Dragon, oh, the Heart Bomb almost takes him out. And it looks like they're going to fall back right to this Fire Giant. I'm curious, they do have the Merlin Shred, but are they tanky enough to take this, though? Clucknuts...
I don't know. I don't think they have the health for it. I think...
Aegis being used by Rush there.
Yes. I don't know. Personally, I would have liked to seen, that reset real quick. Let's head back up there, guys. Only Clucknuts is up. He does have ult, but we just proved that we can, what I was talking about with this late game comp they have. They just got this shred on lock.
Yeah, but now, if they had reset immediately and come back, the only person they have to worry about is Clucknuts. Now... Yep. They have to worry about Snowy, they have to worry about Animated, and Stampy's going to be not far behind them. Actually, Stampy is teleporting in, and he gets it off.
Oh, he gets it off.
So, it seems like they miss an opportunity almost to try and take that EFG, and now we're right back to where we started. The Starhoppers, they didn't get hurt at all. They get a chance to learn from their mistakes and go back again.
Yeah, I do want to point out this game, Thickest Kayak able to maintain the support lead this game. Everybody 20 on the side of the Plebians now. We got that Boom, we got that Imps. Let's see how this plays out. Kraken just deadly at any point in the game still, though.
We do have to point out, last game ended at 28 minutes. We are 33 minutes in. And this is still anyone's game. So the Plebians obviously made a massive adjustment. And even though you said that the Starhoppers had the better draft in just about every way, it really seems like the Plebians are hanging in there. And they still have a legitimate chance to take us to a Game 3. But the Fire Giant dance continues. And you have to think whoever wins this fight, whoever gets this Fire Giant, wins the game, essentially.
Yeah, I would agree at this point. We still see all T2s up on both sides, and we have one T1 left on the side of the Starhoppers. Even though this is EFG, I think this, if somebody gets EFG and a team wipe, I think it's just game even with the amount of towers up right now. Like you had pointed out, 33 minutes into the game, just them death timers at this point in time, just gonna be too long with an EFG on everybody.
Well, this is looking less like a Fire Giant dance and like a Right Harpy's Pyromancer dance. They're just dancing in this little corridor, seeing, okay, you want to step up? No? Okay, maybe if I step up, and Stampy gets punished for stepping up there, and with his teleport, his teleport's only coming up in about 10 seconds, so he's not too worried about it. But with that, the Pyromancer immediately getting pulled here by Animated, and it's getting shredded, but so is Animated. Snowy blinks in, tries to get something done, and he immediately gets shredded, but Rush falling extremely low. The Shell trying to save his life, and the Stampy is going to fall, but Clucknuts turns into the Cthulhu as well. Rushology is out, but the Plebians, they are all falling back, even though they have the numbers advantage. They're just too low, and this Cthulhu doing so much. A triple knockup. Animated trying to go in for the stun. Can't find anywhere. Finds it finally. Onto Kaika. Triple pull by Snowy. And that is a double kill for 2 Icy. And all that's left is Batu and Rushology. Are they healthy enough to do this? The Fire Giant, though, it looks like they are wanting to try. Rushology and King Batu coming up, but Rush is going to get caught out here by Snowy, or is Snowy going to get caught out by Rush? We've seen Snowy teleport in all game at no matter what health he's at. He goes against it that time. A ton of damage onto Rush. Icy does fall in the end, but Snowy will pick him up, and that's a deicide, and they are resetting. Oh my. That was fantastic play there by the Starhoppers.
Yep, and this is what we were talking about earlier when we saw, the Plebians get that wipe. Well, not full wipe. Cluck was still up, but, just full reset here by the Starhoppers. We see Snowy have to go back, be like, man, I didn't.
I've been there, buddy. I've been there. Don't worry about it.
I've done it with purple, so I definitely feel that moment. But, you see that reset, and they're going straight back. They know they still got 20 seconds on 2 people on the side of the Plebians here.
The Plebians, they just respawned, and they know this, so they're not going to be here. If they can shred this down quick enough, Stampy on the zone, and the Fields of Love just to shred it a little bit quicker, and they do get the EFG. Unfortunately, it's not on Icy. Actually, I just realized Icy wasn't up, so that was the Changeling transformation to pop that Fields of Love. Maybe just mistiming the secure a bit, but in the end, it did not matter. And now, the map is the Starhoppers' oyster.
Yep. Like I said, this team that they have just going to be deadly no matter what. Just the amount of CC I feel it can bring, the amount of space it can create. Now they got EFG. I'm curious to see what they can do with it.
Well, as well as this 8.6k gold, and that's going to go up to 9.6 once they do pick up this Gold Fury that they are looking at. And I'm curious, if you are the Plebians, you just give up tier 2s, right? You give up this Gold Fury, you give up these tier 2s, and you just play Phoenix defense. How is the Plebians Phoenix defense with this team comp?
I think they're one of those comps where they got the Merlin, but outside of the Merlin and maybe the Ishtar 1, what's really your area of control? You got Kayak's ult, but are you really gonna waste an ult just to stop one wave?
Well, they're not even waiting for the Phoenix. Instead, they are going in, and the ultimate is blocked. There's no execution coming out of Techie, and everyone is falling so low. A great pull by Snowy, and he gets right out of there. Batu falling so low, he's not going to be able to get over the wall. A double kill for Icy as he takes down Rush. That's going to be a stun onto the Ganesh as well. Triple kill for Icy, and that just might be game. As they still have EFG, Stampy is going to teleport in. They have 5 members strong with EFG. Only Techie and Dragon to defend this Titan, this set. It looks like it might be done. Stampy blinking in, trying to keep Dragon away alongside Animate, but the Titan is taking so much damage, and the Starhoppers, they are going to take this set 2-0. Stampy is going to fall to the Titan. Dragon gets credit, but In the end, it does not matter. Titan Falls, Starhoppers.
Yeah, I mean, just like I said, man, I just think the draft of the Starhoppers there, just the amount of space it can force in a creation. You saw everybody on the side of the Plebians. They were like, maybe if we get the jump on them, we got full builds going here. Maybe we just got a shot at this. I would like to see them play a little bit safer there. Like I said, they're more of a spread out comp. Get in there, mess up these people before they can mess you up. But I mean, they got in there. They almost had that whole fight, but Icy just able to do some too icy things.
He's just too icy with it, man. He's just too icy with it. Going 12-4, 46k damage. This is why the Cupid was banned. Actually, was the Cupid even banned game 1? No, it wasn't. They just went straight for that on her. This Cupid pick, that's why he switched to it. Gabe is just such a strong pick right now, and the Cthulhu wall, it created enough space. We didn't see very many double Cthulhus, but man, I'm just very curious. How are you feeling about this this set? What went right for the Starhoppers?
I think they were just able to utilize the second game, especially, man. Their comp, they were just able to get those gods that can get in there and get the job done. Like I said, I think the amount of CC and just opportunity their draft and comp 2 provided was huge. We did see a lot of points, though, where the Plebians were able to do exactly what they needed to do to try to work around this comp they were against. I think the biggest thing here is just recognizing that Techie may not have the highest damage on the team, but he was able to get off those executes, which, like I said, were going to be a big factor in this late game. So I think if I'm the Plebians, maybe, recognizing that, maybe try to make sure these blues get secured for Techie over here.
Yeah, really. That blows constant blue buff invades, you have to think, really did lead to a lot, but that's going to be game 1. Actually, no, that's going to be set 1, but we're not done yet. We do still have another set being played right after this, so you are not going to want to leave, as we will be back very soon with set number 2. Again, I'm Raptor, that's Uchi, and thank you for watching.
See y'all in a few.